we get some crowd. Oh, they can hear us. Everybody can hear us right now. Come on, people, come on in. It's time for Zoe Nicholson on Lunch Therapy. Go. All right, everybody. Excuse me if I'm yelling. Let me know if there's any crazy technological things going on, because I won't know. I am here in a room with an audience, a live audience. We've got Zoe Nicholson on the line. She's going to be coming in, and she is an incredible human rights activist and an author and a scholar and one of the funnest people that I know. And she is I'm going to tell you more about her. She's going to talk to us about herself. But first we have to breathe. Let's see who's here. Chuck Goldsmith is here. Ahoy. Todd Lee says, hard to Zumba with the dulcet tones from Joel. I'm relaxing in headspace. I like it. If anybody wants to Zumba during the show, please feel free. You can Roomba, Zumba, Boomba. Can't hear you, just kidding. Haha, no stress, all good. I like that. I love jokes on the show. Jokes are welcome. It's a comedy program. Todd, oh yeah, we'll tell Todd in another episode about how he's building our cult, but let's get into the show. Lunch Therapy, Interview Friday from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I'm gonna get myself a modem, I'm gonna get myself a modem. I'm gonna get myself a modem, I'm gonna get myself a modem. I'm gonna get myself a modem, I'm gonna get myself a modem. All right, I want to point out Sven de Kock is here from Belgium, all the way from Belgium, here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Jose Salas is here from Los Angeles, California. in the house. Yes. And we've got Kamala here. And we've got Natalie and Barry here. So this is going to be fun. Live audience. Very excited. We got to breathe, though. I need to breathe because this is highly, highly stressful. Who knows what could happen? What could go wrong? In through the nose, out through the toes. Sue Pascal Sweeney is here from Texas. Let it go. Yes. In through the nose, out through the toes. On Tuesday, we talked for a while about why we breathe through the nose. Let it go. We still don't know why we breathe out through the toes. Nobody knows that. One more time, in through the nose, out through the toes. Chuck Goldsmith says, remember the Alamo. Yep.
And Vernus told you.
Let it go. Vernus did tell me why we breathe out through the toes. It's because we want to be aware of our body. We don't want to just breathe up high like this. We've got Zoe. She's in the green room right now. Zoe, are you there?
I am.
All right, I love it. Are you
I'm
breathing?
Green.
Okay, good.
I'm all green like the ERA.
All right, so here we go. This is a little intro here. I'm back in the jungle here of Mexico. This is from Mexico when we were down there. And I just want to intro Zoe, although she will explain to you who she is. But she is one of the great activists of our time. Zoe and I met while we were making our documentary film, Equal Means Equal. And she's just a delight. So I'm going to bring her on without further ado. Ladies and gentlemen, Interview Friday, Zoe Nicholson. That's the Mexico culture, that's for sure. Yes, you did, Sue. Thank God. All right, here we go. Yes.
Oh my
There
God.
she is. People are applauding here. I don't know whether you can hear them, but it's very exciting to have you. Welcome to Lunch Therapy, Zoe Nicholson.
Thank you very much. You know, I just want to explain a bit about what's going on here.
Yeah.
I have 3 different costumes on right now. One is a salute to Romania, my sunflower earrings, my blue sweater. Then of course, we're going to talk about my film that's world premiere next weekend, but mostly, you know, I am an ERA activist. So I just put it all on and didn't edit it.
I love it. It's looking good. Okay, tell us first of all about this 9 to 5 film that you're in, and it's showing at the South by Southwest Film Festival. Is that right?
It is at 3:45 on March 13th. It's the biggest venue they have, which is the main theater inside the convention center. Still working 9 to 5 with Tomlin, Fonda, Parton, Janney, Moreno, all the original stars, and it's about how nothing's changed in 40 years. And I'm really pleased to be part of it. And they started filming in 2019, and they actually filmed us in the balcony in Virginia when Virginia voted and became the 38th state. I've been told, because I haven't seen it, they've told me that 40% of the movie is on the ERA.
Wow, that's great. So I'm going to show a clip I'm going to show the trailer from the film. Apparently we have an audio echo. I hope it's not bad, but you guys can all keep me. It says echo comes and goes. I will make sure that I mute my microphone when I don't talk, and I think that will help out. So here's the trailer for the film, Still Working 9 to 5.
I didn't like some of the humor in the 9 to 5 script, so I turned it down.
I got some flack working with Jane, being such a radical gal.
Women work because they have to, and they're getting angry, and they're beginning to organize all around the country, and I support them, and I'm going to make a movie.
Everybody was very nervous about the movie because it was 3 female leads.
The core message in 9 to 5 was, you deserve better.
Women said, wait a damn minute. I'm not going to take it anymore.
Don't put up with shit. Demand respect.
All of those things about 9 to 5, the movie, women are still fighting for.
It's so important that women realize that they're seen.
But my Lord, it's 40 years now, and it's still important.
We've got so much more to do.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Barely getting by, it's all taking and no giving. Baby, just use your mind.
All right, yeah. The crowd's going wild here. So tell me, did you see the movie 9 to 5 back when it came out?
Oh, sure I did. And whenever it's on TCM or wherever it lives, I think it's on Hulu right now. I just stop everything and watch it. It is pretty maddening. And of course, Equal Means Equal tells us all about it. That movie summed it up that absolutely nothing has changed. More women are not moving up the corporate ladder. More women are not becoming members of board of directors. You can go to law school, but you'll never be a partner in a law firm. And of course, I want to just tell President Biden, maybe you haven't noticed, but Latinas are getting paid 54 cents on the dollar. And you might want their vote if you just could sit down and pass an executive order publishing the ERA. Just a thought. It would be easy.
There's a lot of applause going on here. I may have solved some of our audio problems here, but let me ask you something. Let's go all the way back and just talk about ERA, because a lot of people who watch Lunch Therapy may not even understand what ERA is. It's the Equal Rights Amendment. Sure. Can you tell us a little history, a little back history?
I'd be happy to. In 1906, I'm not that old, but I've read about it. In 1906, Alice Paul had sort of an internship at Riverton House at 91 Riverton, which was a settlement house where people coming from Europe, in particular Eastern Europe and Italy and Ireland, would come, and that was where they would land. And they would learn about our food, our language, our culture. And Alice was a volunteer there in 1906. Interestingly, Eleanor Roosevelt was a volunteer there in 1903 as a young girl. It was there that Alice realized, like a thunderbolt, that for these people, the immigrants and the poor, to actually be able to participate in society fully, it wasn't about language and dance and food. It was about whether or not they could ever work their way up into equity, into fair wages, into being completely, have access to everything that this country had to offer. And so she decided to work on that. And she thought, well, the first thing I need to do is get the vote for women. Checked on that, 1920. 1921, she quit the National Women's Party, went to law school, earned 3 degrees. 1923, she took the document to Susan B. Anthony's grave in 1923, July 21st, and dedicated the Equal Rights Amendment and said, I will not rest until this is done. And in 1923, talk about a romantic moment. I search for these things and then I find them and I get so excited I can't stand it. But the man who introduced the ERA to the United States Congress in 1923, his name is Dan Anthony, and it was Susan B. Anthony's nephew, who was a member of Congress. He represented the state of Kansas in the House, district in Kansas. And from 1923 till the current Congress, the 117th Congress, the ERA has been introduced. And there are a lot of strange people who think the ERA just suddenly popped up out of the pavement.
Mm-hmm.
Just yesterday, somebody thought it.
Yeah.
And or maybe in 1982, when I was on the scene publicly in Springfield, Illinois.
I want to talk about that. I want to point out that you have a book called The Hungry Heart, which is about your activism in 1982 to get the ERA passed in Illinois, Springfield, Illinois, you and 7 other women went on a fast to get the ERA ratified in Illinois. Can you tell us something about that? Because that's an incredible story. By the way, read this book, The Hungry Heart.
Well, I'm going to tell you something interesting about that book. I had no intentions of writing a book, but I had a journal, a blank book in 1982 was called A Blank Book. And I brought it from my bookstore. I owned a bookstore at the time. And it was my way of keeping the opponents away from me. Because when we 7 of us were sitting in this circle of chairs, a half circle of chairs in the rotunda, people would throw food at us. I had a man put a cigar out on my right arm. People would throw chocolate sodas on our shoes. We were all dressed in white. People ordered pizzas and had them sent to us. And I must say that Phyllis Schlafly and her girls, all in their red jackets, the Eagles Forum, would stand in front of us eating Snickers bars as if I would give away your equality for a Snickers bar, which was all too funny. So the way to keep them away from me was I started writing in this journal. And believe it or not, this journal, this book, is actually my journal, word for word. Not a word has changed. So I get sort of loopy around day 10, and I get sort of high around day 19, and I get sort of mad around day 30. And, every now and then you get to just say something that's self-serving and outlandish. So I'm going to do it right now because it's really extraordinary, even to me, that Gandhi's longest fast was 21 days. And people start fasting, and of course, they think they're going to fast every Saturday. I'll fast every Saturday. Or maybe I'll just not eat lunch. Oh, no, please eat lunch. This is lunch therapy. But we fasted for 37 days, and the only reason we stopped was because the vote was lost. And we actually continued on one more day because, this is such a great story, because the Catholics were coming. So on day 36, the vote went down. On June 24th, 1982, it was over, and the ERA was definitely not going to pass. But the Catholics were coming. The Catholics were ERA, Holy Mother of God. And so all of these nuns and priests all showed up on the next day, and we kept our fast because we wanted to give them the full treatment. They were Catholics. And it was pretty funny because they were sitting in the balcony of the assembly, and they were eating and drinking and chewing gum, which, I didn't really appreciate considering they were there to celebrate a fast, but all the same. I will tell you something really moving, though. Around day 7, Dick Gregory showed up.
That's what I was going to ask you. We like to talk about comedians on this show, and Dick Gregory was a comedian who was also somebody who fasts. It's fascinating. Tell us about that. Yeah.
Oh my God. Dick Gregory not only fasted, but he was a breatharian. And he could tell you to breathe in your nose and out your toes. And when he was a
breatharian, like that means that they only get their sustenance from the air, right?
That's right. There's in the first spiritual book I ever read from the East was Paramahansa Yogananda's story of his life, his autobiography. So wonderful. And there was a long story about, thank you very much, Todd. There was a long story in there about Paramahansa Yogananda meeting a lady who lived her whole life as a breatharian. And it meant they took no sustenance whatsoever. So Dick Gregory, because to up the ante on fasting, he became the master of fasting.
That lady in the book, Yogananda's book, she was also a great cook, apparently, even though she ate no food, if I recall correctly.
And I think that she actually served her guests.
Yeah.
I mean, she was...
Right. She was barely really good at cooking, but ate no food.
Right. So what happened with and his friends called him Greg, and I was privileged. He sat next to me on my right for 7 days, and I was at the end of the line next to the elevator, so he sat on my right. So we talked a great deal, and he was in service to every fast on the planet. And when his plane landed in Springfield, when he came to us, he had just left the boys in Ireland, you know, Bobby Sands and the fasters in Ireland, where many of them died.
Bobby Sands died too, right?
Yes. Yeah. And they actually died because the water they were drinking was prison water, and it was impure. And Greg explained to us that we needed to be drinking spring water, the purest water available. And wait to hear this. He provided water for the duration. He had it delivered. And he planted a doctor there, a woman, by the way, a female doctor, which I thought was really touching. And he left a doctor with us for the duration. And he sat with us and helped us understand what our bodies were doing and what was going to happen. And it was really something. As you probably know, the first time Sonia was taken to the hospital was June 6th. And that day was so important. It was, we were invited by SCLC to visit Lincoln's tomb with the leaders of SCLC, which was Dr. King's organization. And so Sonia was in the hospital that morning, and she was able to go out to leave I can't think of the word right now. And so she was able to join all of us at Mr. Lincoln's tomb. I guess it was Memorial Day, now that I'm thinking about it, right? Anyway, that was one of the high points of my life, to be sitting there with the leaders of SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference.
Can you tell me oh, sorry, but I just want to ask you one thing. The concept of Satyagraha or something, is that some kind of thank you. I can't pronounce it.
Yes, of course.
I never heard about it until this book.
Well, Satyagraha, and people have called me a Satyagrahi. I mean, a man would be a Satyagrahi with an I, and a lady would have an A maybe, but yes, the practice is Satyagraha, and it means that you are a practitioner of nonviolent direct action. You are a practitioner of maintaining nonviolence at all times, no matter what, and wherever you go, even if that violence is in word, not just in clubs. And for those of you who are interested, I think it's just so fascinating that when Richard Attenborough took off to make the movie, he got thousands of reels and photographs of the Mahatma. And there actually is a book where side by side, I have the book, I've spent hours looking at it. And as spiritual practice, I watched Gandhi 108 nights consecutively. 108, of course, is the number of beads in a mala. And it is how often, if you're going to say the rosary, the East Indian rosary, you say your mantra 108 times. And so I thought I would watch the movie 108 times consecutively. But each frame, where he's with Patel or with Kripalani or he is with any of the leaders of Jinnah, who was head of the Muslims, they are exact replicas of photographs. So it's not like going to see, the terrible histrionics, bad storytelling, completely fake story of Miss America about Phyllis Schlafly. There's absolutely no truth to that story at all. My hair was on fire watching it. But if you watch Gandhi, you will know of what it is to be a Satyagrahi. You will know that he carried nonviolence at all times, no matter the circumstances. And even not practicing violence against the people, not practicing violence in the ways of capitalism. You know, there's a great scene where Margaret Burke White says, oh, you're going to make me, self-conscious or famous by putting your pictures in Life magazine. And she says, well, it's not often that I get to spend time with a man who is spinning fabric for his own clothes. And he says, well, in my case, it isn't much. And he's referring to the fact that all he wears at that point in his life is a dhoti, which is a long piece of flat fabric that he wraps around himself. And he had such a sense of humor. I've read everything in English that I was able to find in 1980 by the Mahatma. And that was, let me tell you this.
Yeah.
So, that's so fascinating. So after Alice Paul spent that year at the Rivington House, she decided to go to London and spend a year at the Quaker Settlement House in London. And while she was there, of course, that's where she met the Pankhursts. And the Pankhursts practiced nonviolent direct action for about 4 years. And then they decided, oh, hell, rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go kill a few people. We need to get the vote. And seriously, she decided they were just going to go set buildings on fire and do anything to get the vote for women in England. And that day, which was July 1909, at that meeting at Royal Albert Hall, it's a very famous picture of Mrs. Pankhurst talking at the podium, and of course behind them is their motto, "Deeds, not words." And two people were so disturbed by the thought of burning down buildings and disrespecting human life. Two people got up and walked out and never went back.
And who were
One
they?
of them, Alice Paul, and the other one, Mohandas Gandhi. And Mohan had been in London, a barrister. And the only way, it's so interesting, like, what the heck was Gandhi doing there? Well, the only place he could find people who practiced vegetarianism, because he didn't believe in violence towards animals, he didn't eat animals. The only place you could find people practicing vegetarianism were the theosophists, were people who were practicing spirituality, and even some of the more edgy stuff, like the different forms of astrology and mind reading and fortune telling. And of course, that was women. That was women. And so because he was eating and sharing vegetarian food with these very interesting, evolved women, Annie Besant, you might know her. She was the adopted mother of Krishnamurti. And Annie Besant and Ledbetter, the couple, and they were devotees of getting the vote. So that's where Gandhi ended up, how he ended up becoming just enamored with what they were doing and how they were working on building their movement. And so when he goes to South Africa and he burns passports, and when he goes to India and he builds the Phoenix, which is his ashram, and gets a printing press, so much of this he learned, and he writes about it, by the way, he learned from Emmeline Pankhurst. So the provenance, when you trace that back, like, how did Lucretia Mott ever come to being a feminist? Oh, I know the answer to that. Ladies and gentlemen, I know the answer to that. It's because the original suffragists here in New England, the Quakers, started breaking bread and corn and food and fish and game with the Iroquois. And while the women were enjoying their relationship with the Iroquois in Seneca, they saw something that was just mind-boggling, that men and women were choosing their jobs by what they wanted to do. Some men wanted to raise kids, and some women wanted to fish, and some women wanted to hunt, and some men wanted to sew. And what the hell's going on? There's no gender bias going on here. Everybody's doing what they want to do, and it was because of that vision that the abolitionists decided to take the amazing wonderment of abolition and Frederick Douglass and apply it to the equality of women. And really, as we practice equality and equity, and we work for the ERA, we have to understand we are actually children of the Iroquois. And we owe them a great deal. The place where the vote was first brought to the floor was at a conference in Seneca. It's a little famous. It might have a single sentence in some history book somewhere before Texas outlaws it. And they actually brought the vote to the floor in Seneca Falls. That was 1848. That building had three purposes. One was it was a church. One was it was a meeting place where the white people were meeting with the indigenous people. And the third one is it was a principal stop on the Underground Railroad. That's our provenance, you and me. That's ours. It's really extraordinary that when you understand that you have this legacy. Legacy isn't just blood. Legacy is what informs your soul on how to behave, that it guides your conscience in what is right and wrong. And, you know, we have a great legacy. And I'm really, really proud.
Well, it goes to show you that across the whole globe, things that people do affect places everywhere, and they don't necessarily, you don't even know what kind of an effect you're going to have. It's just if you put good things out there, if you put good philosophy out there, if you behave in a way that is pro-active and pro-creation rather than pro-destruction, then you're going to be able to spread this like waves, you know, when you throw a pebble in a pond, but you don't know where those waves are going to go all the time. So when you did this fast, which got a lot of publicity right now, the ERA, by the way, for those of you that don't know, Equal Rights Amendment was ratified in all the states now and is stuck at the archivist right now. They won't put it in the Constitution. God knows why. And it's something that is not, it's not getting any publicity. As far as I'm concerned, it's not on the news. When you did this fast, though, there was a ton of publicity. You were in People magazine, you were on television, you were on Good Morning America, you were everywhere. How does a fast bring this kind of attention to it? And my second question is, what can we do today to bring this kind of attention to the fact that women are not in the Constitution?
Well, I think everybody in the whole world has a reaction to eating.
It's true.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
I remember Eleanor Sneal coming by the line of chairs and saying that she just couldn't eat. It was terrifying. Like, she would look at her dinner and think, how can I eat? These women are fasting. And then there were other women who ended up eating 2 and 3 dinners because they felt so bad. They were overeating. And people sent us, it was pretty interesting. One of the campaigns that began at the time was to not eat and write a message of love on a paper plate and mail them to us. And so we had, you know, a couple hundred plates that were sent to us. I could talk about fasting till, you know, hell freezes over. But I do want to invite you, you know, I'm going to really jump the shark here and tell you why all this sort of comes together.
Yeah, please.
I really believe, okay, I want to start that sentence over. I want to tell you why I have sunglasses on. I just had my cataracts removed and light is killing me. So I would sleep with them on if I could, but when I'm going to take them off for a second, then I'm putting them back again. Okay. I look sort of like, and I don't really look like that, but the light is really, really bad. Okay, great. I thought you were just being cool.
I thought you were just being cool.
No, I'm never just cool. Joel.
You are cool. It's in your core being, regardless of whether you
Yeah,
have sunglasses. Yeah.
I'm beyond. I'm meta cool. Anyway, okay, I have my notes. My whole life since I was 8, not kidding. You don't want to hear all about it, but there's a single thread that works through my life. I want to know how society changes. That's all I've ever wanted to know. Be it through, the United Farm Workers or the Vietnam War or Don't Ask, Don't Tell or, Loving versus Virginia, Edie Windsor, marriage equality, the Equal Rights Amendment. What I really want to know is, because we do change, what is it that creates change? And what creates change actually is identified in the Pedagogy of the Oppressed by Paulo Freire. And he says, when the people who need the outcome rise up and demand it. When you see a picture of the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and you see John Lewis and Dick Gregory and people coming across that bridge, they know they're walking to take a licking. But they're going to change lives because they attracted attention, and it's going to seep through the arts, you see it in murals, you see it in movies, you see it in poetry, you see it in music, and it lives on because it infiltrated culture. And that's what Inez Milholland did, riding her horse right into 6,000 drunk sailors on March 3rd, 1913. It's because we stand there and embrace danger. And that is what John Lewis called, beautiful trouble. And Bayard Rustin called it, we need angelic troublemakers. And he's the man who was responsible for Resurrection City and the I Have a Dream event, even though he wasn't allowed to speak because he was gay. Dr. King didn't allow women or gay people to speak that day, which, pardon my white American ass, I'm queer, and that sort of makes me mad. Anyway, you wait for something that's going to affect culture. And that's why when I met Camila Lopez, and she started making her movie, I almost want to whisper like it's church. Because she's making a movie. She's this little girl speaking Spanish on Sesame Street. She's this amazing, beautiful person, and she is going to take all her skills and she's going to make something that's going to infiltrate the culture. It just makes me breathless. Not a good idea. Take a breath. So I get word from these guys who are going to make a movie called Still Working 9 to 5. And they're going to actually tell the world that since 9 to 5 was made, nothing's changed. Hello, nothing's changed. So I am inviting you. I'm inviting your audience. I'm inviting you to invite anybody. I'm inviting everybody to please come and demonstrate outside of Still Working 9 to 5.
And that's happening at South by Southwest on what day?
It's at the Austin Convention Center on March 13th. The demonstration is starting at 3. Bring musical instruments, bring tambourines, bring signs, bring.
Do you think it would help? Do you think it would help if people were planking? Do you think it would help if people were planking?
Oh my God, I would plank right now, but you wouldn't be able to see me if I planked right now. Now, we know Jimmy Fallon has planked because we have seen Jimmy Fallon plank. Right. Thank God.
Can you imagine a whole bunch of people planking outside of the screening of that? That would be awesome.
Do you know, maybe they should pardon me. We're not going to say this publicly. Nobody really know we said this. They might plank on the red carpet when certain people who have famous names are walking on the red carpet. Oh my God, no, I didn't say that. Did you say that, Joel? Plank on the red carpet?
Plank on the red carpet. That sounds like a good idea. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying do it, but if somebody happens to do it, what are you going to wear?
In case you're wondering what I'm wearing on the red carpet, more than just a skirt, mind you, but I did make this ERA skirt.
Isn't that great? ERA, yes.
Let's face it, how often do I get to a red carpet? Okay, I want to get back to the point, though, because there's something really holy here. These two men, Gary and Larry Lane, identical twins. I can't tell them apart. You could lose your mind. But they are directors of the film, along with a woman named Camille. They are going to affect culture. And they made a music video has been made where Dolly Parton and Kelly Clarkson are singing her remake of Still Working 9 to 5. And there was a sneak preview on Entertainment Tonight last night. That's who needs to know. I need Latinas and Black women and Native women. I need the people who are suffering from unequal wages, No Fair Paycheck Act, from the No Violence Against Women Act, and No Equal Rights Amendment. I need those women to get mad. I need them to watch this movie and get mad. I need them to say to their boss, am I making the same as this guy over here at this desk? Because Lily Ledbetter lost the case. You need to know this. Lily Ledbetter at the retirement party finds out that these guys and her, they made more doing the same work, which means her pension, her 401k, her Social Security are all less. And Ruth Ginsburg asked to meet her after the Supreme Court rules in favor of Goodyear and not Lily Ledbetter, and says, Lily, take it across the street. Take it to Congress. And Congress did half a job. They passed the Fair Pay Act, but not the Fair Paycheck Act. So I want to invite you and anybody you know to put on something green. I have to admit, all the three ERA divas. I'm going to do a world premiere right here, right now, Joel. It's kind of exciting.
All right. Get ready. Yeah.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Later this week, we will be announcing the world premiere of #3 ERA Divas. We are going to be seen on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And the three ERA divas are Zoe Nicholson, please.
Of course.
Jerry Burton, the president of Nevada Now, State 36. Hello. And Lily Ledbetter.
Yeah.
And the three of us.
Yeah. Some of the things people. Is this is it the number 3? Oops, I have an extra E in there. Is it number 3 or is it number 3? Okay.
It's #3 ERA Divas.
Okay, I changed it. Like that.
And we're working on our opening poster right now, and then we're going to start posting TikToks, and we're going to have for people explaining what life is like without the ERA. That is what we're going to do.
All right, I love that.
Anyway, I really hope that all of you are inspired and understand. 9 to 5, still working 9 to 5, is going to be going to a streaming service, as you can surmise. Oh, that's perfect. Oh my God, I need to take a picture of that. That is just adorable, right up there on the screen. Holy moly! There it is. I need people to get mad about all this. I really do. And
you said something to us. You said something to us about sometimes you have to be the person that is disrupting And even your friends are
Yeah.
going, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be doing this right now. And can you tell that story about Obama when you went to see Obama speaking? Because I think that's a really important story for people to hear.
Sure. Everybody around Barack Obama, everybody, his wife. When I say everybody, I'm saying his wife, his mother, people in his cabinet were all telling him that he needed to pull the plug on Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I mean, Bill Clinton might have thought he was doing us all a favor by starting Don't Ask, Don't Tell, that gay people could be there if they never came out. But you know, and I know that we can tell who's queer and who isn't. I don't know who can't tell. Maybe Lindsey Graham. He needs to work on that. But anyway, so an organization I was working with at the time decided that we would just start an onslaught of heckles. Because what Gandhi taught me, what the hell did you learn watching that movie 108 times? Well, I learned that Gandhi believed in just embarrassing people. That was my Lily Ledbetter accent. And that's what we did. We set out to embarrass Barack Obama. And there were three of us, that went to a Barbara Boxer fundraiser. And it was right here at USC in a big auditorium. And there were 3,000 Black people there to celebrate their newly elected president. And they were really proud as could be. And I was one of maybe 20 white people in the room. And I had a Barack Obama pin on, and the three of us had rehearsed and we knew what we were going to do. And Barack Obama's at the podium, and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to pee on their parade right now. They're going to get really mad at me because the old white lady's going to speak up in front of 3,000 African Americans who are celebrating their newly elected president, in case you missed that point. So I start yelling. It goes around. The first woman starts yelling and she stops. And then this man starts yelling and he stops. And I figure, well, fuck that. I'm not going to stop. So at the top of my lungs, I take off a jacket, and underneath is a t-shirt that says, and don't ask, don't tell. It's the right thing to do. Stop, don't ask, don't tell. It's the right thing to do. So I just start yelling it at the top of my lungs, and do not stop. And I'm directly right in front. You can actually see it on YouTube, a picture of him. And there's an arrangement, in case you don't know, when people actually do nonviolent direct action, if the press is there, they do not turn around and suddenly take a picture of the person who's, ruining silence here, who's breaking a social agreement here, who's actually putting themselves in harm's way and risking arrest. They keep their camera right on, well, in this case, the president. And so all they see is what he's doing. And he says, he looks at me. Oh man, he was so mad. I was picturing how he looks at his daughters when he gets mad at them. And he said, oh, would you like to come up here and talk? And of course, now you know me after 45 minutes, you know damn well I just said, actually, yes, I would. Thank you. And the people in front of me started to separate to let me walk up. And I had 3 minutes rehearsed in my head to talk about sexual assault of women and gays in the military. And I really thought I was going, I actually did really think I was going up there. And the Secret Service grabbed my arms, not mean. They know my name. They said, Miss Nicholson, we're leaving now. Just in case you wondered if they knew who I was. Oh, they knew. And I was walked out. Now, I want to finish this story. So they walked me to the door and they let us all go. However, the next day, they heckled the president at an outdoor venue in Los Angeles. And the next day, they heckled the president, oh my God, at Alonzo Mourning's house in Florida. And they heckled him by air, by sea, by land. They had an over-the-head plane. Oh, planes are always over the head, so we get it together. They had a plane with a banner around the back end. They had a boat with a banner. And they lined the streets as his car was driving to Alonzo Mourning's house. Yay, Miami Heat, by the way. And So he goes to the White House, and a great friend named Carrie Ellerville writes a book in which she reports that she sits in the Oval Office and says, by the way, Mr. President, how did you decide to get rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell? It took you 3 weeks. And he said, I couldn't stand the embarrassment. I didn't know where they were coming from next. He said, for all I knew, they were just going to keep going. So he did. He rescinded Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
See how you can affect change like that. I think that's a great story, how people can affect change. Now, I guess I'm going to have to end the show now because we're getting to the end here. I really appreciate you being on the show. I love your book. I can't wait to read some of your other books because it was just fantastic. What does Todd Lee say down here? The audience is laughing. Let's see what he said. Stepped away for a bit after Zoe's amazing words about Kamala. I'm honored to be connected to her as opposed to previously when she was married to my good friend Joel. Wait, as opposed to previously when she was married to a good friend. No, Kamala was.
Well, I was opposed to Kamala, but we've already figured out she's straight, and I find it troubling myself, but let it go. But I would like you to put up the website I want to send people to is missallispaul.com.
Okay.
missallispaul.com. Or you know what? If you can't figure that out, my switching station for my 14 websites.
Yeah.
I'm content driven. ZoeNicholson.com.
Oh, ZoeNicholson.com.
Yeah, that is the central station of all my websites.
Okay, so now I'm going to put that in the show notes. And of course, because this is lunch therapy, we're going to have a dance break. And I hope you're ready for that. I've got a special, Kamala wants to say something. Come up here and talk on the microphone. Kamala is here. Thank you, Todd, for your kind words. Here she is.
Oh, is she short? She's very short. Okay, so hi. So Zoe. Okay, on the other day, I guess it was the day that they announced that Amy Schumer was going to be hosting the Oscars with Wanda Sykes and another woman. We have been targeting Amy Schumer since 2014 on ERA, and she's very familiar with us, and we've interviewed her and we've talked to her, and she kept saying she wanted to get involved. I saw that come out at 11:11 on my phone. By 11:17, she had a full urgent ask in her email that she better address this at the Oscars. And then Equal Means Equal got a meeting with her staff, Wendy Murphy, and Equal Means Equal was on there. And we just really impressed upon her chief of staff or whatever that person is called, that this is the moment. You know, the New York Times said the Equal Rights Amendment is right now, it's like Schrodinger's cat, meaning it's both alive and dead at the same time. And if this administration really does care about the ERA, as it says it does on all of its websites and literature, then this is the moment that it could just resolve it so easily and so quickly. So if Amy Schumer helps us embarrass Biden, then I think we are, and then we've got 9 to 5. If we can get the sort of embarrassment train going, I think that, we could seize the moment, but the moment has to be before November. Thank you.
Yes.
This has been a public service announcement. Now it's time to dance. We're going to dance to the Love Raptors version of 9 to 5. Hope everyone will join us because there's no better way to shake off the stress, shake off the pounds, shake off everything than dancing. Here we go.
Dance off, dance off.
All right, let's get it. Come back here. We're gonna have a dance fest here. Yeah. Come on. I got some guest dancers. love raptors.
Someone out of bed and you're walking to the kitchen, pour yourself a cup of ambition, yawn and stretch and try to come to life.
We're going nuts in here.
On the street, the traffic starts trouble with folks like me on the job from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living, barely getting by. It's all taking and no giving, try to move.
This has been Lunch Therapy Interview Friday with Zoe Nicholson. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you next week. It's a fun show, Joe. Isn't it fun? Oh, yeah.